Private pilots would never think of just taking off without first pre-flighting their aircraft. Careful preparation is the only way to operate a complex piece of machinery when safety is a concern. In this same context, special attention to the proper setup and startup procedures of your Hurricane booster can ensure the safe and long-term operation of this complex technology. Air compressed to the demands of your drilling equipment can be as dangerous as a loaded cannon, so caution must be taken during every stage of operation. This video will provide you with the information you need to set up, start up, load the booster, operate the manual unload, initiate a routine shutdown, and activate emergency shutdown procedures. This video will also provide you with appropriate maintenance procedures, which will help to extend the life of your Hurricane booster regardless of environmental conditions. These procedures apply to both single-stage and multi-stage boosters. However, be sure to consult your operations manual for instructions specific to your model. The first step in your pre-flight prior to startup is to make sure your Hurricane booster is set on level, hard-packed ground that does not exceed a 5-degree incline in any direction. Also, make sure the booster is positioned at least 8 feet away from other equipment or buildings, or any other obstructions that could hamper airflow to or from the booster. After the booster is properly positioned, visually confirm and/or set the pressure switch auto unload pressure to the requirements for your drilling assignment. As you continue the pre-flight for your Hurricane booster, check both the engine and pumper oil levels and coolant level at various locations of the booster and top off these fluids if required. Consult your operations manual for specific oil and coolant types. Next, take a moment. Walk around the booster and check all hoses and clamps for any leakage or wear. Make sure all belts are tight and in good working order. Next, be sure to check and, if required, drain the fluid from the inlet scrubber tank. This will help to ensure the long-term operation and safe use of your booster, and help to protect any peripheral devices connected to it. Slowly turn the valve and allow the fluid to fully drain before returning the valve handle to the closed position. Next, and this is very important, check that the suction and discharge hoses are clear of dirt and debris. Clearing out debris can be accomplished by discharging a small amount of compressed air through the hose as shown here. Never attach a hose without also securing the safety cables for your protection. Remember, foreign matter inside the hoses can become dangerous projectiles under extreme pressure, causing serious injury and damage to the booster. You should not, under any circumstances, operate your booster with any of the safety devices bypassed or compromised. Failing to have all the safety devices in place could result in serious injury when operating this booster. The devices that need to be operable are the safety relief valves located on the inlet, interstage, the discharge piping, the shutdown gauges, the shutdown tattletales, and the emergency stop button. Also, never start the booster when there is air in the system. With pre-flight completed, startup should be initiated immediately as follows. Check that all suction and discharge valves are closed. Check that the inlet scrubber tank drain valve is closed. Make sure the emergency stop button is in the extended position. Turn the unload auto-load switch to the unload position. Next, turn the off-run bypass switch to the bypass position and reset any tripped tattletales. Now push and hold the start button until the engine fires. If the engine fails to fire, do not engage the starter for more than 15 seconds during each attempt to start the booster, and allow the starter time to cool between attempts. When the engine starts, continue to hold the off-run bypass switch in the bypass position until the pumper oil pressure indicated on the oil pressure gauge is above 20 psig. Once this pressure is reached, release the switch to the run position. If the pumper oil pressure does not immediately climb, stop the booster and investigate the problem by going back through your pre-flight checklist, and if required, consult your operations manual. Next, in this order, slowly open the discharge valve and then slowly open the suction valve. Do not load the booster until the engine coolant reaches 130 degrees Fahrenheit. The time it takes to reach this temperature can range from a few minutes up to 15 minutes, depending on the ambient temperature at your location. Now, you can increase or decrease the booster's engine speed to match the desired operating capacity. Be sure to consult your reference pressure capacity chart for proper compression ratios. You are now ready to activate the system by automatically loading the booster. First, turn the Unload Autoload switch to the Autoload position. This action builds the air pressure inside the booster to the desired pressure if there is sufficient restriction downstream to increase the pressure. From this point forward, your Hurricane booster will automatically load and unload according to the settings made initially at the pressure switch. To manually unload the Hurricane booster, placing the system in an offline state, turn the Unload Autoload switch to the Unload position. For a routine shutdown of the booster, turn the Unload Autoload switch to the Unload position. Reduce engine speed to 1200 RPM as shown here. Allow the booster to cool down by letting it run without a load for 5 minutes. Slowly close first the suction and then the discharge valve as shown here. Turn the Off-Run Bypass switch to the Off position. Then, very slowly, open the inlet scrubber tank drain valve. Remember, the system will still be under pressure, which will be released with the opening of this valve. To avoid injury, open it slowly and allow the fluid to drain completely. During operation, if an emergency should ever occur, simply press the emergency stop button located on the side of the instrument panel. Then, as in the standard shutdown procedures, slowly close first the suction and then the discharge valve as shown here. Finally, turn the Off-Run Bypass switch to the Off position. To restart your Hurricane booster, follow the procedures as outlined earlier. This video reviewed many of the daily maintenance and inspection routines required for your Hurricane booster. Additional service includes checking and maintaining the air filter restriction indicator as shown here, and checking to make sure all lights and gauges are undamaged and in good working order. During operation on an hourly basis, be sure to check and, when needed, drain the inlet scrubber tank. During periods of high humidity, check and, if required, drain the scrubber tank more often to ensure safe operating conditions. If the scrubber fluid is allowed to rise above the safe zone, indicated in the scrubber sight glass shown here, serious damage could occur to the booster valve or cause hydraulic lock, both of which would require shutting down the booster for lengthy repairs. Monthly maintenance for your Hurricane booster includes detailed inspection of fan belts, hoses and clamps, air, oil, and coolant, coolers and radiator, checking them for leaks or loose fittings, and all fasteners for tightness located throughout the booster. You also should test the automatic shutdown system as demonstrated here. Every 3 months, clean dirt and debris from the coolers and radiator, or sooner if required, and at every 250 hours, change the pumper oil and filter. For maintenance specific to the drive engine, be sure to consult the manufacturer's manual. Your Hurricane booster is built to perform. And by following these basic steps in pre-flight, operation, and maintenance, your booster will provide many hours of flawless operation in the field.